What's most important about Meet the Farmer TV is meeting the farmers. Let's talk to some real farmers on the land about the importance of farming to them.
Our mission statement is to create ecologically, emotionally, and economically enhancive agricultural prototypes and facilitate their duplication throughout the world. And so anything that we can do to promote these models will touch and heal one more acre, one more customer, one more farm.
What I'm hoping we'll touch on a bit today is what can we do to improve the system of creating food that's as safe as possible for all consumers and comes from farms where the best practices are engaged by farmers and by processors and by handlers all along the way, so that we've got a food system that keeps people healthy and makes them more so rather than puts them at risk. I'm a believer that it's not going to be that easy to make local food cheaper, and it's equally important to make global food healthier, and that we are in fact one food system. A lot of people say that we are not regulated enough, and I think actually we're over-regulated, but we're over-regulated in some poorly coordinated and poorly executed ways. So the big challenge right now is that the consumer groups who defend the victims of food safety and foodborne illness outbreaks are speaking for more and more regulation, when in fact what we need is better training and better integration and better execution of a more streamlined regulatory process, particularly a regulatory process that focuses on known areas of risk, and also a scientific support process that uncovers and identifies new areas of risk and treats them with a level of scrutiny that's appropriate for each level of risk. Well, right now, with so much emphasis being put forward to create new laws and new regulations and new rules to try to guide the food system, one of the most important things that consumers and other interested people can do is to keep an eye on this process and speak clearly for the goal of safe and healthy food, but without sacrificing full range of choice. And what I mean by that is, when it comes to regulation and when it comes to designing government intervention, most of those processes are aimed at the techniques and methods of the largest farms and the largest food businesses. Those, in many cases, those are the businesses from which the most widespread foodborne illness outbreaks originate, and they're also the businesses that are best able to address complex or detailed government intervention and government regulation. So what tends to happen is, if a problem is directed to big business for a solution, the solutions that are developed are solutions that fit big business's model. One of the unintended consequences that happens as a result of that approach is that farms of lesser scale with less resources and different skill sets are oftentimes inadvertently swept aside in the rush to create regulatory processes and interventions that are appropriate for the largest farms. So the real key, the thing to watch out for now, and on all of our part, is that we not, in our haste to create healthier and safer food, that we not unintentionally eliminate choice, which is, for example, the choice of going directly to your farmer's market, or the choice of supporting a farm that has a diverse set of products and a diverse set of practices on that farm. The large-scale agriculture approach is organized commodity by commodity. So, for example, if tomatoes are deemed risky and a special set of practices are developed to assure that tomatoes are safe when they're distributed on a fresh market basis, those methods for a farm that only sells tomatoes look very different than what those methods would look like for a diversified farm. A farm that has livestock, a farm that has visitors, a farm that hosts school groups. So the real important thing right now is, in our zeal to create safer large-scale food system, that we not lose the choice as to how we support medium and smaller scale and direct marketed food production and farming.
Not only farmers are important, but that material has to get to the market. There are food safety concerns, there's distribution concerns, even special organizations, nonprofits like the Local Food Hub, that are set up to distribute and bring local food within a 100-mile radius to a community.
I mean, we are so lucky. We don't have to work as hard. and we've been given permission, if you will, to use the local food hub.
We have a warehouse here that you're in. It's got 1,500 square feet of cool space and 1,500 square feet of ice-cold space, about 36 degrees, where we can bring produce in, consolidate it, and it's a licensed warehouse with a $3 million liability policy, which should enable farmers and the product that comes through here to be able to get into any of our local institutions, including UVA, senior centers, and the county schools. We are helping farmers by marketing their product. We're also bringing lots of small farmers' products together to be able to offer the volume that these accounts need. So we have about 22 farms that are signed up now that we are buying product from. One of our main missions is to buy that product at a fair price, not to kind of whittle them down as the market cycles through its cycles.
New at the local food hub, we have been extremely busy in the warehouse department. We have tripled sales in about the last 8 weeks. So we have brought on a lot of new institutional buyers, including public schools, including the University of Virginia and hospitals. And it's really exciting to see the kids in the schools having local apples for snacks and local cherry tomatoes. So the warehouse has been extremely busy. And out at the farm, we are putting up hoop houses and high tunnels and preparing the greenhouse to grow for the winter. So we're trying to get as much yield from the land as we can this winter season. We have a 6-course educational program at the local food hub farm, which kind of takes farmers through the seasons or gardeners that want to grow more volume. Last week was our high tunnel and hoop house building class, which taught you how to build high tunnels and hoop houses from items that you can get at the hardware store and for a low price. And then next month we have a class that talks about planning your garden and farm for the next year. So being able to lay out the amount of product that you want to grow and really being efficient about your planning and doing some business plan projections about how much you will yield in cash from what you're growing. And working with the distribution hub to find out what their demand is so that you can match these two things up.